Yay, thank you, thank you. So, hi all of you. Welcome. I'm feeling a little nervous as well as very excited. Also, I don't know whether I'm feeling excited or nervous. Mix of all that, because Manisha, we call her Pinky. Rajiv, we call him Chalice, and Pankaj, we used to call him Panchu. So, if you see some of, is my voice is not clear? Okay.
It is.
Yeah. So if you
It's
hear,
clear only, auntie.
so if you hear some of those words, you have to just go ahead with that. That I'm addressing these uncles and aunties for you. Yeah. So Sarita is saying others can mute. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that would be a good idea. So we don't have much of the background news. Yeah. Yeah, so Ashish has still not joined. He will be joining. We can start with Pankaj, uh, Manisha, and Rajiv. So, Pankaj, you just want to little brief, start with your brief, what you are doing, and
So, what I do is actually very difficult to explain, but in simple words, what we do is we look at data for companies and we use it to either answer a question or find something for them. Okay, and we can, I can take some examples from common everyday life to explain it more. But in short, that's what we do. So we analyze data and we tell companies, what's happening, if their decisions were right or wrong, if they're doing things properly, if or just try and measure what's going on in their company.
okay. So Pankaj, we also.
Is that enough?
Oh, yeah, yeah, enough to start with. I will also like to invite you a little later to talk more about your entrepreneurship in a different country. Yeah, what we normally
Okay.
people doing entrepreneurship in India or maybe next to my neighbor. But just little that
Okay.
story of yours also. How was it? Yes,
Mhm.
Rajiv. Or Manisha, any one of you who wants to start. Ladies first. Manisha, you want to start? You have, yeah.
All right, I'll start.
Okay.
So, same question. What do I do?
Yeah, little brief to start with.
Okay. So, I work in a bank and I look after a division which is called Small and Medium Enterprises, which means the division that provides banking services to small companies.
Companies.
So, small companies. So, we provide all kinds of banking services. We give them loans, we take their deposits. When they send money overseas, we do the foreign exchange for them. So, everything that they need to do for their day-to-day banking.
Okay, so Rajiv, with you, I would like to little more talk about your experience of traveling in different countries. And normally when we say the bank means I as an individual, banking means my deposits as a saving accounts and all. But how does it work for the small, as you said, companies, small companies? How does the loan works for them? A little bit of that we would talk about it. Yes, Manisha, over to you.
What have you done?
What have I done? I've done lots of things. Initially, I started my career as a travel agent, and I traveled so much and all free, which doesn't happen anymore. And after that, I started my business, which was about like 6-7 years, and that was in Czech Republic. So, and then we moved to Dubai. I started working for a relocation company. So that again was about 2 years. Then I got into yoga, and yoga was something which actually was for me. I really fit into that. And so I got into the yoga, but the therapy aspect, not just the physical, but people having issues like back issues, knees issues, so how to open them, how to bring them out. So that's another thing. And the latest new passion is music. So now, at one time, I'm trying to learn 3 instruments, and let's see where it goes.
Yeah. Just give me a minute. Just want to check if that, yeah, Ashish has the Zoom link. Yeah. Okay. So Pink, so Manisha, with you, what I would like your stories of. I remember when we were in college, and the one word which I used to hear from you is that I want to go to London and I want to work there. I want to go London and I want to work there.
Let me start from the very beginning, because they're chote bachas, so I must tell them.
Yeah.
When I was in Himachal, the one thing which always used to come into my head was that I want to speak in English, and that was the only one thing. English, and English was like so scary, and it was like, wow, something big. So when I finished my education, it was all little bit English, like thank you, how are you, that's all. So then I took admission in travel course in Delhi, and that's where I met Ratnesh Mathur and all of them, of course. And then when I finished my course, which was for 1 year, and from there straight I went to London. I said London is the best place to work and learn English. Queen's English.
I've never heard people going to London to learn English.
It was like so much in me, because maybe at that time it was that infinity complex that, oh, we don't know, rest of the world speaks in English and we don't know. Coming from a very small town in Himachal, I mean, that was the thing. Anyway, so English was in my head. English. So I reached London, and I worked in a restaurant for 4 months until I got my all paper everything sorted. And once I got all my papers done, then I got a job in travel agency. And from there, I mean, I really worked hard, and I was the first one who, I mean, whenever the free tickets used to come, they always used to keep on my table. So that was like the best thing. Okay, it's English, which has given all these things, traveling to France and Frankfurt and this, and that was about 28 years back. And so I worked there for 2 years. Then I came back to India. We got married. And after 3 months staying in Mumbai, we were sent to Budapest.
Yeah, just 1 minute. I also want. So you said for 2 years you worked there, and I think you sponsored yourself when you were there in London.
Yeah, I managed everything from, like, when I reached London, I only had £5 with me. The next day only, I started working in a restaurant, so which was like £2 per hour. But I was just waiting. Okay, by the time all my paperwork gets sorted, I should have enough money to start working. So because you need money for your room and food and everything. So when I earned £1,760, so then I left restaurant and I joined a travel agency. So I was like comfortable. But I never asked not even a single penny from my parents. But I did borrow money from my mother for the ticket, and I sent it back. So anyway, so then when we got, after getting married, 2 months in Mumbai, then we were sent to Budapest. And Budapest was another journey, because Hungarian, over there, English was not used. So whatever English I had learned from London was again went back. And I learned Hungarian, but I was very comfortable enough to pick up a job. So I picked up a job in travel agency, and I was handling the leisure travel. Leisure travel was mostly like, preparing the packages for people, especially all those multinationals. So our company, it was a British company, so we used to handle their accounts. And from there, we traveled quite a lot, about 30 countries from Budapest. So that was and at that time we didn't have children, so both of us would be like, 2 weeks stay in Budapest, then again go to Amsterdam, go to Thailand, so all those, Tunisia. And then
And all those tickets were sponsored by your travel agency?
all free, everything. Even the hotel, food, everything was free.
Okay, so Advya is asking, what is travel agency?
Travel agency now, I think, now Ravi made it to you, it's been travel agency, now it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, but okay, it's a good question, Advait. In the old days when internet was not there, or it was very small compared to now, if you wanted to buy a ticket to travel somewhere, you would go to a small office where somebody would actually look up the different tickets available in a computer, print a ticket for you and give it to you. You would go to the airport with that physical ticket. So the travel agencies, these officers are very important because they were the ones who figured out what options you had to travel from one city to another. Now you probably just get on makemytrip.com and do it yourself. But until about 15 years back, this was done by travel agencies.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so let's go back to Pankaj now. And Pankaj, you want to share?
I can't follow her. That's not fair.
I know. Once we start,
So now, Pankaj, you have to start. When you went to US, how many dollars did you have?
Yeah.
So I wish I could make up stories like this, right? I mean, my story is not even 1% as inspirational as Pinky's. That's truly inspirational. I actually worked in Singapore before I went to US, so I already had some savings by the time I came to US. And when I went to Singapore, my elder brother lived there. So again, I didn't have to struggle because I stayed with him for a bit before I had enough money to go and live for myself. So I really never had to struggle, nothing like what Pinky had to do.
okay, but how was it to start a company in a new country? And
actually starting a company in US is way easier than maybe starting it in India. Because legally it's very easy. You can go. You could even in those days you could register a company, think of a name, start it in one day, literally. Typically, if you're doing well, like even till date, we don't have a sales team. You do good work, people know about your work, and you get more work. So even when I did my management, I was very clear that eventually I want to start my own company. Right, so that was a dream all along. And the moment my visa situation in US came to a point where I could start a company of my own, I went ahead and did it, and it was not very difficult to do. Right, because I knew what I wanted all along. But for the 5-year-olds and 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds, I don't think if this is nearly as interesting as Pinky's story. So why don't we do this? If you have any questions, kids, go ahead and ask, and we'll try and answer
don't
that.
feel inferior. So go.
How can I not?
Sorry, you were suggesting something. Yeah.
No, so I was just saying, if the kids have a question, we can try and answer it.
Yeah. Yes.
But as I said, if starting a company was very easy because I knew all along that's what I wanted to do. I've lived once I came to US, for the last 25 years, I've lived in the same place, pretty much in Bay Area. So over years, things became easy.
So Siddhant is asking, why did you leave Singapore and go to USA?
The main reason I left Singapore and went to US is my wife then wanted to study in US, and she got admission. So I thought I'll come along with her. So I found a job to stay with her. That was the main motivation. When we first came to US, We thought we will go back after she finished her studies, but we liked it here, so we stayed.
Okay, so I have one more question, Pankaj, for you before I go to Raji. But when you went to USA, nobody knew about you, or you didn't know anyone in that country or wherever.
Yes.
Then how was
Yes.
it to start the business out there? And that was the
So
time no
when I
Facebook,
first,
no WhatsApp. Yeah.
yeah. So when I first came in US, you come on a visa where you are not allowed to start your own work. You can only do a job for someone else for a little bit of time till you get a green card. Okay. So I already had a job. You can't come to US without a job. So while I was in Singapore, I'd already found a job. And once I was in US, while on a job, I was doing consulting for companies. And so by the time my visa came to a point where I could start my own company, even enough people knew me and knew of my work. So the transition was very smooth. It was not very difficult at all.
Okay. So Advay is asking, where are you right now?
Right now, I'm in Bay Area. Look, it's dark outside. It's about 10 o'clock here. I live in California. Google is right next door. Apple is on the other side. You know, all the big companies that you heard of, maybe from US, most of them are in this area.
This area, yeah. Chitra is asking, are there metro trains in USA?
They are, but not in California. So a few places like New York and Chicago have a very good metro train system. But where I live, we don't have it at all. So we pretty much have to drive everywhere. And that's very bad.
That's Sunita.
It is, right? It's not environmentally friendly. It's very congested. You waste a lot of time driving.
Yeah,
But unfortunately, we don't have local transport.
Yeah, so I want to share this train bit with you, that when I traveled to US for the first time a few years back, so I thought, like US is the greatest country in the world. So it would have a fantastic travel system and all that. And I realized that, my God, it is not even connected properly. Everything is through driving. And we had to reach to a small town where my friend lived. So, there was no way to reach there unless she came to pick me up. Otherwise, it was so expensive that I couldn't afford it. So yeah, so what we've seen in Europe doesn't exist in America. So America is really not the all the end all of this world. This is really my experience after I visited that country. So it is a dream country for
not
a lot
just
of
that,
people, but that's what my experience was.
So not just that, Ritu. I mean, as time has gone along, I think India, Singapore certainly, but India is far, far better than US in a lot of things. So even in a lot of cases, quality of life in a lot of places in India might be better than it is in US.
Yeah. So Sunita is saying, Pankaj, that approach that nothing was difficult is inspiring. Are you feeling better now, Pankaj? Sorry, I'm pulling you.
Thank you. I needed it.
Can't help it, I know we have been in college together, so can't help pulling him like anything.
Okay, so one question I have for
wait, Ritu. Yeah, you have to type your question in the chat.
Okay, I'm typing.
How others are typing. So Advay is asking, Pankaj, are you using Apple laptop?
No, I don't like Apple products at all. And that doesn't mean that you shouldn't. I just don't. So it's a Microsoft Windows laptop that I'm using right now. And my phone is Android.
Do you like the apple?
I don't. I like to eat apples.
Okay, so let's move to Rajiv while we collect more questions for Pankaj. Yeah, Rajiv, your story. Now you have to set the stage.
Okay, my story. So I think it
a
all.
little closer. Rajiv, can you come a little closer?
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So folks, a lot of people you see on this screen, we all studied together. So Pankaj and myself and Ratnesh, we were studying engineering together. Then our paths kind of, we went our different ways. I worked in India for a while. Then, as Manisha said, literally 2 or 3 months after we got married, my bank where I was working asked me to go to Budapest. And when they said you need to go to Budapest, then Manisha said, "Do you even know where is Budapest?" And I said, "Yeah, it's somewhere near Bucharest." That's all I knew. And we landed in Budapest, not knowing the language.
Where is
but-
Budapest, by the way?
Good question. It's in Central Europe. It's the capital of Hungary. It's a very nice place. People are very warm. The food is great. So we spent a good 7 years there. I was first working for the bank that sent me there. Then I changed jobs. I started working for a different, more international bank. They then sent us to Prague, which is just a few hundred kilometers to the west, which is the capital of Czech Republic. We stayed there for a good 6 years. That's where our two daughters came along. One was born in Budapest, the other was born in Prague. Then another bank called, and by that time I had become somewhat of a specialist in what I do now, which is banking for small businesses. So another bank called and wanted me to do that for a different part of the world, for Africa and Middle East and Asia. So we lived in Dubai, which is another very interesting place, for about 3.5 years. And then we came back to India, and we lived in India for about 3.5 years before moving to Singapore. And we've been here now for almost 6.5 years now. So we've done kind of a geographic circle in terms of the places where we have lived. And the biggest thing I have learned in all of this is, initially when we got to Budapest, I was convinced that people everywhere are very different, and we would talk about it. Hungarians are different, this is good, this is bad. By now, I have come to a stage where I feel that people are actually not different at all. Whichever country you go to, whichever city you go to, whichever state you go to, down below, everybody is the same. They all seem to have the same red blood. They all have the same things that make them happy. They all get jealous. They all have mother-in-laws. So, at a root level, things are not too different. And at least I find it very easy to deal with people, because I deal with people from a good 25, 30 countries as part of my job. That when I remember that, the interactions become easier. And I'm able to see them as people rather than seeing them as Nigerians or Chinese or Hong Kongese, etc.
That's quite nice. So Rajiv, I remember when you called me first and say, "I've got a job in Exim Bank," and I was just thinking, what kind of bank is that? Although I was in architecture, somewhere in my second or third year, I mean, that age I'm saying. But when you called and said, "I've got a job in Exim Bank," and I was like, I was not even aware that, okay, such kind of a things happen. So it was, I think, Export Import Bank.
That was my first job there.
That was your first job. Yeah. So do you want to talk a little about that? How the personal banking is different than banking for, say, small industries or?
Certainly. So,
Yeah,
Yeah. Actually, you want to type, beta?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So you see, when you think of banking for what you do or your parents do, what do you use banking for? You keep your money there, so it's a place for keeping your money safe. Occasionally, if you are building a house or you just need a loan for doing something, you go and borrow money. So banks take people's money, keep it safe. They even give you some interest on it. And when other people need money, they lend that money. And in between, they also help you move the money. So if, let's say that you needed to pay your school fees, you can pay it from your bank account to your school's bank account. So basically, banks do three things for anybody. They hold money, they loan money, and they move money. These are the three things we do. So what we do for small companies is not very different. We hold their money, we loan them money, and we help them move the money to their buyers or to their suppliers or anybody like you and me who's dealing with the company. What is different is here there is no person. So if you go and ask for a loan, or if your parents were to ask for a loan, mostly they will be asked, how much is your salary? How old are you? Where do you live? All that kind of questions. Companies don't have salaries. Companies have a different way of earning money. So how you analyze a company is different. So we ask for different kinds of information, different documents from them to help us figure out if this is a good company. If we give the money, the most important question is, will the money come back? When you lend anybody money, that is the question, that will this money come back or not? So that is different.
So you're saying that it's not only the individuals who can take loan, there are companies also which can take loan.
Oh yes, and
Yeah.
these loans can be very large. So you will be surprised that even Mukesh Ambani's companies borrow, and they don't borrow in hundreds of rupees or thousands of rupees. They borrow in thousands of crores of rupees. Everybody
It's
borrows.
not even Mukesh Ambani's company, especially Mukesh Ambani's company.
Who is Blackberry BB?
Yeah. I think, is it Ashish Blackberry? He's just trying to log in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it possible to switch on your video and rename yourself, Ashish? I think he can also talk about how's Aditya Birla doing. Okay, so I think meanwhile we check and Ashish switch on his video. I have a couple of questions. Ritu is asking, I think, to all of you, is that, do you think what you thought about your life in the younger years? Are you asking, Ritu, what do you think about what you thought of your life in the younger years? You actually could mold your life accordingly. Is it true that we think today ultimately takes us where we want? Is the come on mic and little more, explain the
What
question.
I'm asking is that बचपन में हम जो भी चीजें सोचते हैं, a lot of people think I will do this, I will do that. So how much of what you thought at that younger year and today where you are relate? This is what I'm trying to get across to kids as to, how their life they mold with their own thought and actions. So today where you are, what do you think at that time?
My aim was to speak in English, and I think 75% have achieved.
Yeah, so
And
Mukunda
25%
here.
is still all the time I'm writing the
Yeah,
word.
if I type just 1 minute, Manisha. If I type your question better in the chat, if it is not there, I'll take
No,
you
I
on.
don't have any question. I just wanted to tell that my friend told that Mukesh Ambani was the
We'll
richest
take
person in
beta.
Earth.
Yeah, we will take your question, dear. Yeah, typed it. I'll take it. Yeah, Manisha, you were saying that your dream was to speak English. You achieved it.
And 75% I've achieved, 25% is still, I'm still learning.
You know, Aditi, when I was about 6 years old, my only dream was to be a fighter pilot.
Yes, come. Yeah, now Rajiv, speak.
So when I was a kid, my dream was to be a fighter jet pilot.
Fighter jet pilot, okay?
I used to be a very fat kid.
Okay.
So my brother, who was quite heartless looking back, told me that I was so fat that the plane would fall down. And that was the end of that dream. So then I switched, and then I wanted to be a train engine driver, thinking that that thing can't fall down any further. Right? But eventually I settled that I liked engineering as a subject. But if I look back, I think there are very few people in the world who can say that I want to be this, and they kind of can stick to that for 30 years or 40 years, because life will throw you a lot of surprises. There are a lot of things that you don't know about yourself, and there is even more you don't know about the world as it changes. So probably it's not even fair to ask yourself that I must decide what I want to be by the time I'm 17 or 18 years old and must stick to it. I think the world requires a lot of flexibility, but it's good to acquire some good skills, whether it is in engineering or mathematics or arts or architecture, something that you can then apply, but be prepared to change your path as you go, because the world will keep throwing opportunities. And if you say that, no, this is all I will do, that may not be the best thing for your own career.
And also, if what my experience that keep learning, never stop. This thing or that thing, keep adding things to your life.
Yeah, yeah,
Keep
yeah.
doing new things.
For me, things are, sorry.
Yes, sir.
So for me, things are very similar to what Rajiv was saying. When the first thing I remember I wanted to be was I wanted to own a bakery where I would never sell anything to anyone else. It was all mine. Okay. So that didn't work. And so I went through many iterations. But when I was in 12th grade or first year engineering, I don't remember exactly. My brother, who was an engineer, he computer science, he came back home and he borrowed a BBC computer from a friend of his. It was like a small computer that didn't even have a monitor. You had to link it to a TV. And he asked me, he gave me a problem to compute, to program and solve. Okay. I knew then that whatever I do would probably be related to computers. And to that extent, what we did with computers changed quite a bit over a period of time. But that core part, has been constant ever since.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you did MBA also, Pankaj. So how was that related to your computer dream?
So two things, right? We did engineering, and Ratnesh, I'm sure agrees with what I'm going to say, right? I was a very, very bad student. Okay, guys, don't be like me, like I was in engineering. So what I knew was if I became an engineer, it was not good for me or for the society. So I had to find something else. So that was my motivation to go and do MBA so that I could find something else to do. Fortunately, MBA also has something called information systems specialization. So the two things that I focused on was entrepreneurship and IT or information systems when I was doing my MBA. And both of them, so what really happened during MBA, more than the skills that I learned, was the two things that I wanted to do became even more clear. One was I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and two, I knew I wanted to do something around data, around computers. So, and that I didn't want to go to finance. I didn't want to go to banking, sorry, Chalice. Or I certainly didn't want to go into marketing. So to that extent, it really, really helped me out. I was lucky that the IT field was just starting. And more often than not, I've been in the right place at the right time. And they say that rising tides raise all the boats along with them. So I've been very fortunate. And when someone said along the way that, that I didn't have to struggle for anything, I was just lucky. Okay. So I'm not kidding when I say that I would rather have my kids listen to Pinky's stories than mine. Because, it's just the simplicity of how she says things, right? I wanted to learn English and I've learned it, right? I really wish I could think about things in such simple ways. I mean, I really need to become your shish. That's absolutely, it's really, really inspiring to me that, and it's always been like that for Pinky, right? Yeah. She thinks about things in very simple ways and she just goes ahead and does it. Okay. And, it doesn't matter whether you change things 10 times. Now you want to do something else, and you do it. So I find it extraordinarily inspirational.
True. Yeah. So just to share with all of you, Pinky is one of the person in our group who started with the simple need that I want to learn English, and she learned English. Then she said, I want to go to London and learn or whatever, earn. She went on her own, and we were all like, we couldn't even think that, okay, something like this 25 years back, going to another country, working out there, taking care of all our expenses, and then coming back. Okay, so that was, yeah. So I'm there with Pankaj. What you're saying. There are a couple of more questions before I say what I want to say more. Leela is asking how you used to communicate in. I think it's for Rajiv and Manisha. How you used to communicate in unknown languages? 25 countries, 25 languages.
No, it is not that bad. But when we got to Budapest in Hungary, initially it was difficult because it was almost as if you were living in a vacuum bubble, because billboards were in Hungarian, newspapers were in Hungarian, the news on the radio was in Hungarian, hardly anybody spoke English. So you felt as if suddenly your environs have stopped talking to you. Things improved only after Manisha landed there, which was a couple of months after I did, because she immediately picked up Hungarian lessons. I was lazy as always, I did not. I did take up a teacher who kicked me out because I was not a good student. She basically said, you think you are the boss, you refuse to recognize that I am the boss. And that was the end of it. But Manisha learned pretty quickly, and through her I learned, because she would just keep saying words and saying small sentences at home, and when we would go out, and then by osmosis pretty much I also picked up. But 25 countries, look, like today my job requires me to talk to people in 25 or 26 countries, but most of the communication happens in English. So the bank that I work for is the international bank, so they mostly recruit people in every country who speak English. So I don't have to learn Chinese and Swahili and all these languages.
Yeah, so I think the related question is Siddhant is asking. I hope so. How many languages do you know and understand now?
Hungarian, I think we both still can understand a fair bit. We can get by if we have to go and order a meal or go to a supermarket there, or basic conversation. Manisha more than me. Czech language, not so much. But other than that, Hindi, English, Marathi for me, Pahari and Punjabi for her. Yeah, that's about it.
And talking about Hungary, when we reach there, or like any country, first thing what I experience is that it's not the language which is required. It is that your love, your gestures, how you're because yeah. So, and also because maybe like coming from Himachal, where even Hindi was not there. English, forget English, Hindi is not there. So mainly Pahari. So always like so when you see somebody, give a nice smile, and then come, you don't need anything. That's it. And you bring them home. And I was till date, I'm very, very open to ask everybody to come home. So when you invite somebody, that person doesn't need anything. Why do you need language? To discuss big things. But the foundation is love. That I have care for you, and that's it. And people are receptive. It's just one language, love.
Beautiful. So Siddhant, so there's one more language which Manisha is sharing is the language of love. So that gives some comfort to Leela and what Siddhant is asking. So Achalesh is asking, I think it's for Rajiv. You're in India or Singapore? Or Pankaj? Whom are you asking, Achalesh?
So Manisha and I am in Singapore, and Pankaj is in California.
Okay. Leela is again asking, what guarantee do you have for giving loans for startups? It's for Rajiv.
It's a very, very, it's a kind of question I get every day at my work. So are you a banker?
Leela, are you a banker?
So very simple answer is we actually do not give loans to startups, because the hard truth of life is that 80 out of 100 startups fail in the first 3 years of their existence. Then there are those 20, like what Pankaj has done, who succeed and become massive successes. But if you are giving a loan to a startup, then the probability is that 80% of your money will not come back. So we actually don't give loans to startups. We give them loans after they're at least 3 years. Bankers are much hated for doing that. But given that it is a business where you lend money or to get your money back, you want to lend it to companies where there is a good probability that it will come back. So simple answer is we don't lend to startups.
So there's a concept of incubation also for the startups, right? There are people who will adopt you and incubate you. And if you have proved yourself, then the bankers like Chalice, Rajiv's bank will give you.
I think Pankaj has a lot more experience.
There's always the bank of mommy and daddy.
Okay.
One thing I did want to say to particularly the kids on the call, that look, by now, I'm 51 years old. Pankaj is not too different, I guess. So we all have now worked in companies or our own venture for 30 years. And I have a lot of people who work with me who are, who have become quite senior in banking particularly. And when I look around them, I try to see what they are made of. Now, there are some who are like me. They went to a pretty decent engineering college. Then they went to an IIM and got a good degree in business management. So the privileged, those who could afford to go to a good institution, got terrific education, and then succeeded. But that's probably maybe only 20-25%. The rest of them, some come from very basic educational backgrounds. I even have some colleagues who don't have a college degree. But there are few things which are common across them. They all have worked extremely hard. Whatever they did, they worked extremely hard at it. There is just no way to get to that level without that one ability. Second thing, and that I think Pankaj would it resonates with him, is they take risks. These are people who are willing to say, I want to do this, maybe I will fail, but I'm still going to try it because I just want to try it. So they are big risk takers. And the third quality, which I find Indians find most difficult to understand, is they're very good at communicating. They're very good at convincing people, other people, about their idea. We often think that is politics. Why do I need to do it? If I work hard, the world will do right things for me. But communicating your ideas, convincing others is a very, very important part of working hard. So I would say, apart from education, which obviously matters, these three things probably matter even more if you want to succeed in whatever you choose to do.
Yeah, quite, yeah. So Mukunda is asking, anything before I go to Mukunda's question? Anything, Pankaj, I saw you want to add something to it.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that what is risk? Okay, it might be a little complicated for some kids, but what is risk is very different in different people's minds. Some people might consider starting your own company risky. Okay, for me, I never felt like that. I always felt that working for someone else and someone else deciding what's good for you or what's bad for you or how good you are or how bad you are is far more risky than doing things the way I want to. So I think it's something that will come to you with age, I think, and some people might understand it even now. What's important is to be true to yourself, right? And say what makes you happy, what, and rest of the things fall in place. It's easier to work hard if you love what you do. So, so just find that. Sometimes people find passion very early. Sometimes it takes more time for you to find your passion, but eventually you will. Right? Ratnesh, you and Aditi can certainly talk to this, right? Much better than maybe I can, right? You tried a few things, you found your passion, and then you did it. Right? My wife, Prerna, she was an architect. She loved it. When she was going to have her elder child, Prakrit, she decided she just wanted to be a full-time mommy, and she loves it. Right? She went in it with all her passion. She forgot about architecture. She was a topper in her class. She went to one of the best schools in the world to do it. Right? She found her calling. So it really depends on what you want. The risk, just find something that you love. It will come to you. Don't be disappointed if it doesn't come right away. It will. And when it does, everything else will fall in place.
Yeah, so Pankaj, what you add, including becoming a mommy, right? Mommy is not considered, becoming a mother is not considered profession. And
No,
you're saying,
it's not a question of, so let's forget profession, right, for a minute.
yeah.
Right? What do you want to do with your life? Right? And it was a very simple decision for her that I want to be full-time mommy. Right? And I'm truly jealous of her. Right? So it was just amazing. The switch just went, and like you guys, right? You found what you wanted to do, and then there was no looking back. I mean, I'm talking for you. You should be talking for yourself. But Pinky, right? She found yoga. You will find what you want, what you love, and once you do, it's not hard work anymore.
Yeah. So Mukesh is asking, Mukunda is asking a different question. That someone told that Mukesh Ambani is the richest person. Is that true? And Akhilesh is saying he's rich but not the richest. What do you say, Rajiv?
I think at least in India, he is the richest. He's possibly the richest or second or third richest in Asia also. And he's definitely top 10 in the world.
but
you got Uncle Google, so you can look it up. So
the point is, he still takes loans.
he takes loans.
Grandfather, Google,
No,
and
it's
grandmother.
not. He
YouTube
is
is there.
rich because he takes loans.
Pardon, Pankaj?
I think he's rich because he takes loans.
So I think.
But that's a different story, kids. Let's not go there.
Actually, you were adding something to it. So Leela is responding. That's awesome. Sorry, Achillesh, you're saying something?
Asking anything. I just told there is grandfather Google and grandmother YouTube.
Okay. Yeah. So Leela is saying that's awesome. Keep learning. So I don't know, Leela, which response was that? If you think you want to come to on mic, do share what's your point. And
I think she was wanting to money.
What I guess Pankaj and Manish said, that in the life the best thing is keep learning, never stop learning.
Okay. So you were reinforcing that thing. Okay. Sunita is saying, I wanted to own a restaurant to eat tasty food. So maybe Pankaj responds to your bakery. You have more,
Yes.
more in your community where you guys can now get together and own your own places so you can eat as much as you want. Leela is asking, what made you to decide the subject information system? I think it's for Pankaj. Yeah.
So as I was saying, when I was in 12th grade or first year engineering somewhere there, my brother bought this BBC computer and he gave me a problem to solve. It was basically that if I give you a set of numbers, how will you sort them in increasing or decreasing order? Seems like a simple thing, and I was able to solve it, and I just hooked. So
Right. Yeah.
that was it.
Okay. So so there is a question, Rajiv. Advay is asking, what is a loan?
I think that's a very fair question. We always assume something.
Yeah.
So let's take an example. Let's say you wake up one morning and you decide that all I want to do in life is open a pizza restaurant. I want to make the best pizza in the world. My pizza would have all kinds of special toppings, and I'm going to make a success of it. Then you do some research and you realize that to make a pizza restaurant, you need to rent a restaurant. So you'll need some money for that. You need to set it up nicely and buy the furniture. And biggest of all, you need a pizza oven. And that pizza oven will cost you probably 6 lakhs, right? A good pizza oven. And then you need some money to hire some staff, some waiters, and you have to pay them their salaries. And it will take some time for you to get enough customers. So at least for the first 2-3 months, you need money to pay. So altogether, you need 20 lakhs, maybe 30 lakhs. Now you go to your dad or mom and say, I need this much money. And they tell you, either don't have this much money or we don't think we want to give you this much money. So what do then? You don't have the money, but you have a great idea. So then you go to someone, and that someone can be a bank, and say, I need money, give it to me on a loan. So give me 20 lakhs on a loan. So the bank decides to give you the money. And they say, okay, give this money back to me. You have to pay me back something every month over the next 3 years. And by the way, I will charge you some interest. So if I'm giving you 20 lakhs, I would expect to get back something like 23 or 24 lakhs over time from you, because I'm giving you my money to use. So like, when you rent a house, you pay rent. So the bank is renting money to you and you have to pay some rent for it. So that's called a loan. That when you don't have your own money, but you want to do something which requires money, then you borrow, you take a loan, and then over time you give it back. If you give it back on time, then next time it becomes easier to take the next loan if you need to take a loan. That's what a loan is.
Advait, does that give you some idea what's a loan? Maybe we can explore loan and interest in some other. I can see Advait trying to smile.
Yeah, he says thank you.
I think there was a related question to that, which 2 questions.
Mukunda.
Chitra is asking, will I get a loan from bank to open a continental restaurant only for me, like friends? And the Leela is saying that if banks are not giving loans to the startups, then who will give? All mothers and fathers can't give the loan to them. So
Rajiv uncle and Pankaj.
So let me try and answer the second question, and Rajiv can go for the first one, or Pinky. So there are lots of, the banks don't give loans to startups, but there are many other companies or people who do. And then there are always other people like your friends who believe in you, who know you well, who might want to invest in your company. You just have to make sure that they get enough in return. So there's something called angel funds, there's something called venture funds, and then there are friends and family who might invest in you. So these days, it's fairly well set. So if you do enough research on Google, you'll be able to find a few people that you can go and talk to who might be interested, as long as you have a great business idea and they're sure that their money will not be lost.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Rajiv, you want to say for the
second? No, I think Pankaj is dead right there, that if you have a good business idea, then finding money to fund it is not difficult these days. You start with your family and friends because they are people who believe in you. If there is not enough money available there, then you go to the next thing, which is what Pankaj said, angel investors. Or there are even, bigger entities which are called venture capital funds who would provide money to you. Obviously, their terms are different because they are taking more risk, right? It's a startup, it can fail. So they take more risk, which means they expect more back from you, but money is available. Now, coming to the question, would I lend money to someone who wanted to start a continental restaurant? If as a banker, I would say, show me your business plan. Right? That's the first question we would ask, that show me, have you made a plan? How will you succeed in this business? What's going to be special? What's the location? How well are the restaurants in that location doing? Do I think that you will make enough profit? Have you done your homework in terms of how much you will have to pay to your waiters? What's the cost of food? What's the cost of wastage? Because not all the food is used every day. So if a banker feels that yes, this business plan looks solid, it is likely to succeed, then they will most likely give you the loan. If they feel that this is going to be just another restaurant on just another street, most likely it is going to close down after 6 months, you will struggle. So they will look for what's special about your business plan. And if you're able to convince them, most likely you will get the money.
Yeah. So what I'm also hearing.
So one more,
Sorry. Yeah, Pankaj, go ahead. Yeah.
just one more thing. I live in Silicon Valley where, there's a lot of people who all they do is investment, right? So one of the sayings, most of the people that I've talked to, not when I was asking them money, but just asking them their philosophy to invest, angel funds, friends or family, or venture capitals. The number one thing they invest on is people, even more than the ideas. Okay, so you have to be very good at, and take this word with a pinch of salt, right? To sell yourself. Okay, if they see in you a person who will work, who will respect the fact that someone helped them, who would take responsibility of the money they have raised, there's a very good chance they'll invest in you. Even if they didn't like your business idea, they might suggest you ways of making your idea better. So the number one thing is yourself, right? You, or if you're doing it with friends of yours, you or your team is typically the most important thing to raise money. And Rajiv, I'm sure even when you give loan, the people who are asking loan are probably as important as the venture.
Absolutely. Now, Pankaj is dead right there, that the person, so there's, we look at the product, we look at the plan, but we also look at the person or the persons who are behind that business. Do they come across as honest? Do they come across as sincerely committed to making that business work and keeping our money safe? Do they come across as knowledgeable in the area that they are trying to do business in? These are all the things come together. It's not very different. You go into a playing field, try to borrow a cricket bat from your friends. Before they give it to you, those are all the things going in their mind. Will this guy give it back to me? Is he a good fellow? Will he, answer the doorbell when I go and collect my bat? So not very different.
Or would you use a bat to threaten me and take more stuff from me?
Rajiv, you made it quite simple to say that what makes people to invest in you. Quite beautiful. And Manisha Sunita is reinforcing that you have a beautiful and loving being. Must be response to what you were talking about, love and compassion, the language of love and compassion.
You are absolutely right. She is.
So Mukunda is asking, okay, we are also reaching towards 12. Leela, give me the time kind of a thing. It's 12:15 till we can chit chat, and then we have another club starting at 12:30.
Yes, Aditi.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we have some more time. And just in case if more people wants to talk to them, we can even go into the breakout room, depending on how much time Rajiv and Pankaj has.
Yes.
So Mukunda is asking, were there any difficulties when you started a company? Mukunda, you asking it to Pankaj? Yeah.
It can only be to Pankaj or Manisha, because those are only two people who have started a company.
Yeah, Manisha, and you will probably have different experiences. But and there's also another question later on which says, to open a startup, do I need good to be good in all the skills, right?
Yeah. Both.
So there isn't one recipe, there isn't one way, there isn't just one answer to your question, right? I think as long as you know that you want to do something, you're passionate about it, and there is at least one thing you are very good at in all the things that you put into there, I think you should be fine. But I think Pinky is probably going to be more helpful because she has started a whole bunch of different things. For me, it was one thing, and my company has evolved quite a bit over the last 25 years. But for me, everything has been gradual. Okay, everything. When I was working here, I was quite a bit working as an independent, finding my own projects, even though I worked for a company. So opening my company was the logical step. When I started my company, people wanted more work, so hiring more people was the next logical step. When I saw the market for one thing was going away, but something else more interesting was starting, for me to move to that was the next logical step. So it kind of sort of evolved over a period of time, right? There was no one aha moment where a bulb went on and then things
Hello?
completely changed, right? It was all
Bye.
very, very gradual. So I'll
Yeah.
let Pinky answer the question. I think she'd be able to answer it better.
Yeah, so before we move to Pinky, I think I also want to say that what Leela is asking, do you need to be good in everything like finance, market, innovation?
No.
Well,
I don't think you need to be good in everything in the beginning, because you can't afford to have all kind of people. You would have to do everything a little bit. So as long as you are able to go through that time when you have to do everything and you're willing to do it, right? As we tell our kids all the time, there is something that you want to do and there is something that you need to do. Okay, you probably have to do some of both. So it can't just be what you want to do. Sometimes you also have to do what you need to do.
yeah, that's quite interesting. Need to do, yeah. So combination of both of them together. So Sunita is asking, oh, sorry, yeah, I think Manisha, Pinky, you want to add to this thing that do you need to be good in everything? You started a business in the foreign land. Pashmina shawl you were.
Maybe I can help. I think I love to tell her story, so allow me to do that. Well, look, we went to Prague when she was, I think, few months.
When is it? Yeah. When we reached Prague, Manya was already there, and Manya was like 18 months old. And that time, the same thing, like what Popo, Freda was going, so that I don't want to work, and I just want to be a full-time mother and just take care of children. But parallelly, I also knew that I'm a very restless soul. I need something, going. So then we were when we moved there, we were in a hotel, and I saw a lot of people into like a lot of fashion, So something just struck me that business of shawl, because it's a cold country and people love colors, and also because of the fashion thing. And coming from Himachal, so the shawls and that whole thing I was very familiar. So I ordered about for $2,000 my first shipment, and within 2 days I sold that. So slowly it picked up. And by that time, all the international community, they knew that Manisha had very good quality. And I think the best thing what was a success, that I could just see the color of the hair and I could tell them the word colors would go nice on that. So people they trusted so much, and they would just come. Oh, I have my grandmother and my sister-in-law in Denmark or somewhere, and then could you suggest something? So I would just say, okay, Spanish, that means orangish, all the fire colors, and this. So that I actually worked very well, and the big community was the French. So with French, somehow that whole thing, because French colors, it was something in my head. I never studied about those things, but could connect, and that picked up. So yeah, so 5.5 years, 6 years almost. It's very nice.
Yeah. So I also.
Can I just say one thing here, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
so as you hear, people here were actually, it was Manisha or Pinky that they were buying, not shawls, right? The trust that she gained, she bought good quality stuff, she gave good advice, she was not out there to make quick buck, right? That's what I think would be more important than the shawl itself.
Yeah.
Right? It was that trust in Pinky that they were buying.
And one more thing, which was very beautiful, because whenever I would go to school to drop my kids, and then a lot of mothers like my stage, who are like professional but don't know what to do, because all these foreign countries, different language, English is not used. But I would just keep my eyes open, because my house was always open. So I used to do these exhibitions, and I would just speak to somebody, and she tells, okay, I'm a painter. okay, come home. And I would give her a nice table, so she would have her stall there. And somebody getting the basket from Indonesia, so I would give a stall there. And somebody getting some stuff from Rajasthan, her own jewelry. I said, come. And that actually helped us make a bigger community. So it wasn't, money was coming, but apart from money, it was like, you know, nice socializing. Kids would meet. So for us mothers, it was another platform, you know, and it really worked very well. Till date, I get so many messages and so many like Christmas thing or that thing that we miss that whole thing. But I think that all started because somewhere deep inside that mother thing. No, I don't want to work, but I want to live like, you know, nice, good mother doing things. That
Yeah. Yeah, so Pankaj, Rajiv, and Ratnesh, all three have done the business management. But I think if you want to learn the love management, you need to talk to Pinky or the people management. Yeah, I think I haven't met anybody like you, Pinky, in my life who is so well connected with every soul who connects with you. Yeah. So,
5 minutes for music also. Nice.
oh yes, we have
Yeah.
5 more minutes. There's one more question which I want to take is that Sunita is asking, what are the best ways to market or communicate about your business? Someone was one of you. Yeah, but so Sunita, maybe what Manisha was talking right now, what Pankaj was talking, I think that must have given you a bit of idea. You want to know more? You want to come on mic and ask if there's anything else you have in mind?
Yeah. Those are the things of more being, more of how you are presenting it. So I'm talking about, because Raji was talking about communicating. It is important to communicate what you're doing and all that. So apart from how you're like Pinky or Manisha was saying, apart from that, how else can you spread the word? Because we have a lot of entrepreneurs here. We have many people who are trying to set up their business. So how one, of course, apart from few things that we know is Insta, Facebook, and few posters, is there any other way that you guys have used that has helped you in spreading the business?
You know, picking up on Manisha's example, I think there is no publicity like word of mouth. It is still the most
Yes,
powerful.
absolutely.
I think even for Pankaj, he would agree that if you get a happy customer, you do well for them, they will bring you 6 more customers. And you probably will never have to use Instagram or Facebook or anything else. Those things help because they spread your message wide, and because everybody else is using those tools. If you are completely silent, that also doesn't help, because people search on Google for most things these days, and you have to find a way to show up there. But beyond that, you know, make your client happy, and eventually there are a few other things depending on your business that you can do. So for example, if you know, making sure that you are connected to the right forums. So you know, business forums where you go and speak and you present your product. Those are all the little things that you would do anyway, depending on what product you are selling. But above all, make your client happy.
Yeah.
So it also depends on what scale you want to be. So if you want to do $1 billion business, for example, then word of mouth alone is not going to get you there. Okay. But if you are going to do a business of the size of business I run, right, much smaller, then word of mouth, you know, has kept us in business for 25 years. We've never had to do any sales or marketing. So it also depends on the scale, but without word of mouth, you know, the second thing can't work, right? So word of mouth is absolutely important. It's absolutely important that your customers love you and are very happy to say good things about you. But you know, the social media and everything else, if you really want to scale and make your company much, much bigger, you would have to go into this.
Yeah, and Mukunda is asking, Pankaj uncle, what's your name of your company?
The name of my company is Neocortex. So it's it's a part of the brain which developed last, which makes decisions. When we had started the company, we had a product in mind which would help make people make decisions. So that's why we took that name. It's a little pretentious, I get it, but we named it once and we just stuck to it.
Guys, I have been to Pankaj's office, and the best thing about that office is got a beautiful big billiards table.
A lot of big, beautiful.
He's got a big billiards table.
Ah, okay. I must visit sometime. So we'll take this as a last
The
question. Last question with
best investment we made.
I have one last question.
Yeah.
Rajesh,
Actually, I'll take Chitra's question and then hand over to you, and then you can ask the question. Let me ask Chitra's question. Chitra is asking, is she there? Yeah, she's there in the call. To three of you, do you know a loving woman who's running a restaurant with banks loan in foreign land? Chitra, is this your question? You're asking the information, or you know someone whom you want to share? Maybe if you come on mic, you can ask.
Thanks, Aditi. I'm just asking, did any one of them come across a woman who is running a restaurant with so much love what Manisha is offering, and with the bank's help, like, without mommies and daddies sponsor? Yeah.
Did you get Raji?
Is there anyone who can come live like them today? Yeah.
Chitra, I can add a little bit to this question. One of my very good friends, schoolmate, and she lives in Switzerland. She runs a restaurant by the name of Ananda in a place called Neuchâtel, Neuchat.
I think your voice is, we lost your voice, Manisha.
Video is frozen. Yeah, the video is frozen.
Yeah, I think video is frozen. We'll wait. Till then, I think, Achalesh, your question?
my question was, Rajesh uncle and Ratnesh and somebody
Uncle.
told that they went to some area. No, what is that area's name? Day something.
Are you asking the college or businessman?
Ratnesh and Rajesh uncle, I think.
Ratnesh, Rajiv, and Pankaj, all three of them are from the same college, same batch. Is that what you're asking?
No. They told some name, no, some country or something. I don't know that a country.
IAM. We all went to a management college called IAM, different IAMs, but we all went to Indian Institute of Management to do our MBA.
No, Budapest.
Yeah, no, three together went to the IIM. That's what I think. Actually, you're asking where all three went together. All three of you went.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
No. What I asked is, Rajesh uncle told that we went to some country named Daga something. What is that country's name?
Budapest.
Hungary.
Budapest.
Hungary is a country, and
What
Budapest is, yeah, spelling is Manisha, can you type it for?
Okay, just 1 second. We'll do that.
I think if I've tried.
Yeah, some Budapest only. Yeah, what Budapest?
Budapest is the name.
Budapest means Buddha like old and pest like a mosquito, right? Pest.
It was what Budapest is it? Hungary Budapest.
Actually, now you check
Yes.
in the chat window.
Oh, got it. Budapest.
So I want to ask some of you who are still there. I've tried taking all the questions. If any of the questions are unanswered, we still have a couple of minutes, and then we can move on to music and then close this session. If anyone's question is not taken, Ashish is there. I can see Ashish finally logged in.
We missed Ashish today.
Yeah, Ashish. Yeah, meanwhile, if somebody else's question is unanswered or you have something, you want,
Ashish, man, it's been years.
Today's network has been terrible. My apologies, first of all. I am the loser.
Looks like a neta, man. You look like a complete neta with that beard.
अरे यार बड़ी मुश्किल से तो I'm सहेजना for a different look. The lockdown look still continues, as they say. Hi, Ritu.
We definitely missed your inputs. We are towards the closing of it, and Sunita is inviting Ashish that we will have Ashish special Jatre next time, where we'll talk about more about how this cement business is working and how are you managing all those people. So we had a wonderful discussion, and to be very frank, guys, I was not sure that how this conversation will go, but I'm feeling quite not relaxed, but very delightful that it went on. I mean, I felt quite involved when things went on, kind of a thing.
Aditi, you've been a wonderful host.
Yes, Aditi, one more thing. Next time, maybe with Ashish and Aparna together, because Aparna has lots of stories to
Yes,
tell.
I have so many of the people whom I like, Ritu herself and Sandeep, both of them are themselves. So I thought, let me start and invite more community people to invite their friends, and then we keep on doing all these conversation with different people. Normally what happens that people like us who are uncles and aunties, when we meet our children, then okay, bye uncle, thank you, bye bye guy, they're not able to converse with us, they're not able to communicate, that they don't able to approach us. So I thought, let me just open up this forum for the kids to at least get that they can connect with all of us. So
Uncle, aunties are ready for the music session also, please.
This uncle is ready for bed. It's way past my bedtime.
Just 2 minutes.
So Sunita is saying she's carrying a lot of energy and it's very contagious. So great, Sunita. Yeah, you can always connect with Manisha. She's not so much on social media, but you can still connect with her. She's ready with her musical instrument. I can see that.
My husband is going to sing and I'll play.
Yeah, and yeah. Some of you, if you want to stay back, I think Charles is a self-made musician, singer, and let's listen to him. Rajiv, are you ready now? And Ritu?
As is Manisha.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the only trouble is that all the songs I know are from like 30 years before these guys were born.
Hey, we'll consider it as history lesson, man.
History lessons in music.
Okay, just give me 1 minute, yeah?
Yeah, thanks Chitra, thanks Sunita. Yeah, it's so loving to listen to all of them. Although I know them for so long, but it was a quite different experience. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to sing a song which is not that old. है क्या ये जो तेरे मेरे दरमिया है, अनदेखी अनसुनी कोई दास्ता है क्या ये जो तेरे मेरे दरमिया है, अनदेखी अनसुनी कोई दास्ता है, लगने लगी अब जिंदगी खाली है मेरी, लगने लगी हर सांस भी खाली, बिन तेरे बिन तेरे बिन तेरे कोई खलिश है हवाओं में, बिन तेरे बिन तेरे बिन तेरे बिन तेरे कोई खलिश है हवाओं में, बिन तेरे. That's all I know of this song. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah, so now Mike, to anybody who wants to say something or ask something, we have 1 minute before we close, or before Leela throws us out in a different place it.
But maybe for bachas, I can add something. There's an instrument called ukulele. I also started about 2 months back. It's 4-string instrument, and all of you must get it. It's only 2,000 rupees. At least do one thing, play any song and then just keep coming. And then it's that thing. Down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down. Don't worry about the left hand, just keep strumming. And then later on, I can teach you when Aditi gives me an opportunity to speak. Then we'll.
So we have Advay here. I think he was learning ukulele. I'll connect quickly you with Advay. He was learning.
This is only 2,000 rupees, but this is life. Keep adding, and music is the best thing.
Yeah. We can see that. Yeah, I can see Bhavan's mic on. Bhavan, you want to share something?
No, thank you so much. I'm feeling so overwhelmed. Friends speaking after so long, and it was really touching experience. Apart from whatever your experience shared with us, thank you so much.
Yeah. If Chitra, if I am not wrong, it is ukulele. I think somebody has typed for you. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
And what Sunita is saying, yeah, I also felt the same thing. Sunita is saying, we didn't feel that you're only my friend. I think you made all of us quite involved and connected. It was beautiful sharing, guys. So I want to say thank you and all to all of you.
Hey, thank you. I told you, you gave me a chance to talk. I would have come at 2:30 p.m. AM, whenever.
Yeah.
Lovely interacting with you all, listening to your stories. It's quite inspiring. Everyone has a different story, but still it's so inspiring. Yeah, I'm not even...
Lovely. Great to be here. Great to see all of you. Aditi, you've been a wonderful host.
Yes.
Thank you.
So Ashish, we'll catch up later sometime, man.
Oh,
Nice to see you.
Ashish, we really missed you, yes. But at least we could see you right now. So that's quite nice.
Aditi, you want to break out room?
Please notice the color of the wall behind Ashish.
Birla white.
Birla white. All right, on that happy note, bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
See you all.
Bye.
Bye.